Welcome to those who haven't been here before. A couple of you have been here on other nights. My name is Yvan. I've been in detailing for 40 some years now, and C6 is an evolution of DIY detail.
C6 line, they are similar to the DIY coatings, so polysilazane.
Polysilazane is used in many ceramic coatings. It's not sexy, it's not shiny, it's not glossy, but it's chemically resistant, and it's does strong bonding and has good strength to it.
SiO2.
Then we have SiO2. Just about every coating in the world has SiO2, even though they say they're a graphene or a diamond or this or that, they all have SiO2. It's a backbone of a good coating.
Silicon carbide.
The one is silicon carbide. If you remember Opticoat Pro was silicon carbide. This is another thing that's incorporated in. Silicon carbide gives us additional gloss, slickness, and durability.
SiN, silicon nitride.
And silicon nitride is something that you probably haven't heard of before. It's a little different. Silicon nitride is a flexible ceramic. So it holds everything together and it prevents what kills most coatings, which is fracturing. And fracturing, if we remember, if we look at a desert floor, the day it rains, it's beautiful, it's slick, it's shiny, it's everything we want it to be, and it starts drying out and it looks like a desert floor again, all cracked. That's what's happening to your coatings over time, is they fracture. So by reducing the fracturing, by eliminating the fracturing, we have a coating that lasts much longer. But what sets C6 apart and what drives the price up too is refined detonated nanodiamonds.
Refined detonated nanodiamonds. And the DNDs for short, just to make it easier on us, they're a very interesting technology. They're made in a fashion that's a lot of fun. Take a piece of carbon, put it in a big metal sphere, and
then we explode it. That explosion causes pressure and heat. That pressure and heat create diamonds out of carbon. And the name C6 also comes from that. So if you remember back to high school, the table of elements, the 118 elements, C6 is carbon. Diamond is the only gemstone that is 100% carbon. So that's where the name comes from. But we take those diamonds, they're taken through sieves to get the right size. Once we get the sizing that we want, from there,
process is milling. So just like milling flour, it's the same sort of process, but it makes it so that the diamond particles are all uniform in size and all uniform in shape, and they're all rough. So it's not a shiny diamond surface, they're actually rough. So every other particle bonds to it, and they really like bonding to paint as well. So it's the glue that holds it together, and it helps prevent the fracturing that everyone knows from coatings over time. The other piece of technology that we've innovated is the app. So adhesion promoter polish. There are primer polishes on the market. They work, they do a good job. The primer polishes fill the pores of the paint, leaving an SiO2, normally a SiO2 barrier or component to adhere the coating to. The app works a little differently. It swells the paint.
Swelling the paint slightly, and with the polysilazane and SiO2 that are in it, very minimal content, is just keeping it in that open position. A slight amount of polysilazane and a small amount of SiO2 in it, not to create gloss, not to create slickness, and definitely not to create hydrophobics, but to lock the paint in that open state. Unlike some primers, there's no timeline to this. So some of the primers available in the market, when you apply them to the surface, you have X amount of time before you can remove them. This one, we can wipe it immediately, or we can polish a section or apply it to a section and wipe it off immediately, or we can polish the whole vehicle, go for lunch, have a late lunch, come back, do another car and wipe it off, wait a day and wipe it off. It really doesn't matter. There's no specific timing involved. You can wipe it off and immediately coat, or you can wipe it off and coat tomorrow. Yeah, humidity, temperature, no big deal. As long as you're not, above 40 degrees, you're okay. This bottle, so a 473 ml bottle, will easily do 30 cars. I'm a fan of finishing with the rotary. If this could have been done with the rotary, I would have a rotary in my hand right now. Yeah. The way there are little abrasives in here, but basically the rotary and a long stroke DA. So anything over 8 millimeters will overwork the polish, meaning that it's very, very difficult to get off. There's very little abrasive in this. It's not for paint correction. It's barely for paint enhancement. We're just here to deep clean the paint and open the pores. That's all it's doing. It will impart a bit of gloss, but that gloss actually comes from opening the pores, not from anything else. And it's deep cleaning the paint deeper than we could have cleaned it any other way. I've been telling people for 30 years not to use a dry pad. I've been telling people for 30 years to wash your pad after every section. I've been telling people for 30 years not to wipe off with a dry towel. Well, even an old idiot like me can change, because we're going to be using a 3 millimeter machine, not a rotary to finish. We're going to be doing it with a dry pad, and if we're doing the whole vehicle, one pad would do the whole vehicle without cleaning the pad. And we wipe off with a dry towel. Again, contrary to everything I've taught for the last 30 years, we're using a dry pad. We're not cleaning it throughout the whole process. We start with a clean pad, we should finish with a clean pad. There's no accumulation in the pad. Very easy. We'll put 6 to 8 drops on the applicator. Start in the center because we have too much on the applicator. Circular motion. Bring it out to the edge. We want to make sure to cover and go past the edge of the panel that we're working on. Yeah, touching the fender, touching the light. And then just a couple drops to keep going. So when you feel a bit of resistance with the applicator, add a drop or two. This one is very susceptible to phantom high spots. So if you get it too thick, not a happy situation.
1 drop, 2 drops here or there.
Yeah.
Not friggin'. Oh, 6 every time.
Yeah.
That's what we usually do.
And we're good to go.
Yep, easy wipe off by the look of it.
No, it's super hard. So we want to do about a 15 centimeter circle.
Bigger.
Yeah, it's easier on you.
Yeah, not safe.
Yeah,
Just thicker there then.
yeah.
Yes.
And no pressure.
No pressure whatsoever.
So you just go
Yep.
for bigger circle.
Yeah, about an 8-inch or about a 20 centimeter circle.
Right.
So see how much you had there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Boxing the
Yeah. So. And you want to overlap to make sure you're getting onto the.
Yep.
You're getting past the surface. Interesting. Now on freshly applied PPF, since it's still releasing water,
Yep.
notice how it reacts quicker.
Yep.
So we need to wipe it off. Where the towel goes.
I'm going to start with 8 to 10 drops, which is more than enough to do this whole bonnet. After I've primed the pad like I've just done, from there, we will only do 1 or 2 drops per panel. A 30 ml bottle will easily do 2 vehicles this size. So I'm going to start in the center of the bonnet, applying a circular motion. The reason for the circular motion, there's a number of them. First of all, it reduces potential high spots. The other thing is, it's easier on my body. I'm not starting and stopping in areas. It's not the best way. No, yeah, it's not the best way. You can, if you want to cross-hatch with this coating, by all means, cross-hatch. If you want to do triangles, do triangles. If you want to do figure eights, hexagons, octagons, whatever geometric shape suits your fancy, do it. But with the circular motion, it is the motion that will use the least amount of coating and give you the best results in terms of evenness and leveling.
And if you look now, it's almost done.
Yeah.
Thing is level, almost.
It almost self-levels.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You do this.
Yes, it smells like a coating.
That's like, oh, that smells familiar. I'm like,
Pardon me?
Some companies just in the key.
Yeah.
Give the some of the like a black bars or applying bar,
Oh,
small bars. So they say, oh, it's going to be helpful, you're labeling well or something like that.
yeah.
it disappears into the pad. That's the problem with it too.
These are made in the USA. Anyone here left-handed? Okay. If you're left-handed, because I'm right-handed, so I used it this way. If you're left-handed, you can do this. Now it's ready for a left-handed person. No, just joking. But if you drop it on the ground halfway through the job, you can flip it and keep using it. I have 2 towels for leveling. None of them will get wet. The first one is the one actually doing all the work. That's why it's a short nap towel. And then the second one, we'll use a fluffier towel, and this is just for insurance, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now you noticed how little coating I applied. As long as the applicator is leaving a trail behind it, that's all we need. We don't need to make it wet. More is not better, actually more is worse. It can cause phantom high spots. Phantom high spots are when you've coated the panel, you've leveled it, it looks great, there are no high spots, and an hour later you come back and you find a high spot. And you're guaranteed you didn't miss it. That's because you had too much coating, the solvents are coming through the coating and causing what looks like a high spot again. That's a phantom high spot. We want you to apply this thin. We want you to be cheap with it. I have 2 qualities in life, I'm cheap and I'm lazy. That's what I want you guys to be. When you're done, you do not throw your towels away. You do not throw the applicator away. You put it in your wash bucket and let them soak for 15 minutes and you can reuse them. They're towels.
Yeah, because with some coatings, I've tried that and it's the towel's trash. You can't use it. Like it's hydrophobic no matter what you do. I tried soaking it for 24 hours.
You don't pick up the coating with that.
No.
It's already cured on.
There's no coating on the towel. If you're doing this right, you have no coating on the towel. The one towel, you'll use one side for the whole car and it's still dry.
Okay, so you can do like 2 towels for the whole car.
Yes, because we're spreading the high spots into the low spots. That's all we're doing with the towel. We're not removing the coating. We're not removing the excess. The other thing with our coating is the solvent carriers we have the only coatings that they can import to Australia easily, because there's no components in it classified as dangerous goods. So they're not class 3, they're not class 8, which are explosive or corrosive. They're transport safe solvents. They're safer for you as well.
So they can be sent by air, basically?
Yes, yeah. They can be sent by air like 3 days, as opposed to general freight, which is really expensive. You can still ship them by air, but it takes 2 or 3 weeks if you have to go through general freight. These can actually board the plane and sit on a seat if you want. A little expensive, better underneath, but they're not classified as dangerous goods. And the DIY coatings as well. 1 hour after this is applied, it can drive away in the rain. Way too much, yep.
Oh yeah.
Because they're gonna squished.
Yeah.
Let it, like, push it.
Yeah, no pressure whatsoever on the applicator. The less pressure you use, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Repeat after me. If it feels like I'm working,
Done something wrong.
right.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, and go put it right up against the pad when you do it.
Yeah.
You'll have less. As you can see, it almost self-levels.
Yeah, but you're not worried about it. Oh shit, it's drying too fast.
No.
Doesn't matter, because some of them are like that. They just go, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What's the longest you could sort of leave that on, say, today's temperature?
Today's temperature, maybe 5 minutes.
5
That's
minutes?
pretty good.
3 or
And even if you can
4 to 5
see it,
minutes.
it's still right. It's not going to be like,
Yeah, no.
yeah,
So this
good.
weep and like opens up, like do you see it, or
Pardon me?
like the flashing, so to speak? Is it like more a weeper and you see it weep to know when to wipe?
No, it basically disappears.
Yeah,
So
which
you
is
don't
good.
see it anymore.
You got
Yeah.
to wipe up then.
Like if you look at the side that I wiped off and the side that you applied to,
It's virtually the same.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can hardly see.
So you can make a
anymore.
polish.
right.
They just disappear and you stop.
This is the level.
And then
No, wipe it. Is there a maximum temperature that you would use to put like that?
about 120.
Yeah.
Or sorry, about 45. Yeah.
So nothing above
She's
that.
going to flash.
Yeah, it's humidity that does more than temperature.
Okay. Yep.
But I wouldn't go below 10.
Okay.
I reckon
It doesn't really get that good, so.
Yeah.
Oh, give it a go.
You can do the light as well.
This one?
Both.